Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we're taking a look at the Premium Bandai Master Grade Advanced Hazel. So I've already done my review before on the Hazel Custom, which was also a Premium Bandai kit, and this is basically that exact same kit plus some new parts. It's obviously got some new parts there for the head camera, some new parts for the sub arms there on the front of it. It's got some new parts there on the top of the backpack instead of the pod that's on the back of the Hazel Custom. This one has a little bit different one. It's meant to hold the two shield boosters that it has there on the backpack, and it's sporting this new dark blue Titans color scheme. So it does also have the new part for the shoes. I can't forget about those shoe parts there. Those high heels make the feet not only larger, longer, but also taller. So it's got some really huge, big feet on there with his new kicks. And overall, I gotta say, it's really cool. One of the biggest complaints that people had about the Hazel Custom MG kit was that they felt it was kind of lacking in detail. It really didn't look all that much better on the outside, really, compared to the high grade. And that's a worthwhile criticism, I suppose. And you could pretty much say the same thing about this, considering that it's just kind of the same thing, just with some new parts added onto it. They didn't really kind of up the detail of the kit as a whole. So if you had that complaint about the original Hazel Custom, then you probably will feel the same about this kit as well. But I have to say, I really like this quite a bit. I always kind of thought that I prefer the Hazel Custom, but I don't know, this kit is really cool. I really love the addition of the new parts, especially the sub arms on the front and the new head camera. I really love about the design of the Advanced Hazel, so I really am very happy with this kit. Alright, so let's run through what you're going to get in this big, beautiful P-Bandai box. So you're going to get a mountain of extra parts. Not really a mountain, let's say a small hill of extra parts. You have a lot of leftover parts with this kit, as with many P-Bandai Master Grade kits that you're not going to be using. So you can just throw those in your parts bin, throw them in the trash, whatever you want to do with those. There wasn't really anything worth noting to show you guys as like things you could use, like option parts or anything. If you guys didn't know, this kit is using the Master Grade Gundam Mark II 2.0 inner frame in there, so it's a lot of leftover parts that are like leftover parts from the Gundam Mark II 2.0 kit that we just don't use for this. But anyway, so we do have this very nice sheet of waterside decals. Obviously, I haven't put any of them on the kit at the moment. I will once it's painted, but we have some nice big Titans Test Team logos, the big TR logo there, of course the Rabbit logos here, and then a couple little caution markings. That's pretty much it. We have our Beam Saber effect part. We actually have two of these, but it only has one Beam Saber mounted up there on the top of the backpack, so you will have an extra one of these you can use for a different kit or something if you want. We've got the beam rifle, which, yes, is pretty plain. It's like an all one color except for the clear bluish greenish part there for the camera, and that's pretty much it. The secondary handle will move side to side. This extra little bit here kind of like pops out in the back. You can either push that out to the left or to the right, and that's for plugging this onto the side skirt, so you can plug it on either onto the left or the right, depending on which side you have this little bit there popped out. This can also be held in either the left or the right hand because it has a little attachment, a point, a little peg there on both the left and right side of the handle. You got just our basic shield here, which is pretty simple. Just mounts onto the side of the arm. You can actually mount it onto the side or the back of the arm or the inside of the arm if you wanted to, but that's actually for mounting multiple shields if you want to do that. But the secondary handle inside the shield here doesn't move, so you can't actually use that. Very simple. On the back, not really all that detailed, but this will just plug onto the arm as normal. And then we just have our booster shields. This is exactly the same thing that came with the Hazel Custom. But in this case, we've got two of these. These are meant to plug onto the backpack, which I'll show you in a minute. You can just plug these onto the arm, too. You unfortunately can't do both, because you only get one shield connector piece, unfortunately, which is kind of strange. But to mount these onto the backpack, you just kind of, to mount these, you just kind of slide up that part of the backpack, fold that back like so. Fold out this peg inside the shield, plug it into there, and there you go. You'd obviously mount one on the other side as well. So we'll show you guys all of that here in a minute. Let's just run through the articulation of this really quick first. So real quick, this does have a couple stickers here and there, basically just for cameras and things. So we've got a sticker there for this camera there on the chest. There's a sticker in the head, which we'll talk about in just a second. There's these green stickers down here on the front of the calves, black stickers inside the vents on the front and back of the leg there, and then one big green sticker here for this kind of camera, I guess, thing here on the backpack as well. Here in the head, we've got that nice clear greenish blue part there for the camera, like wrap around all the top of the head. And then for the new bit on the front of the head, this part actually opens up. There you go. Not very easy to do, but that actually opens up a little bit, and there's the same clear part that pokes out here on the front. It also pokes out. There's a little tiny circle clear lens there in the middle of that for like a sort of mono eye sort of thing camera, but again, not very visible. I don't know if anyone's really kind of bother utilizing that much. Otherwise, you can just keep that closed up like so. So the head articulation, as you can see, it can go up to about there, which is pretty nice, and then down to there. So the head is quite nice. Cockpit hatch does open up by just sliding this part out a little bit and then folding that up like so, and folding down the red part. And then I don't think you guys are going to be able to see that, but inside there is a seated pilot figure just inside the cockpit there. In the stomach section, we have some forward and back articulation there, side to side, kind of a little bit here as well. One thing that I'm noticing about this kit, and I didn't really notice this on the Hazel Custom all that much, but this kit seems quite loose in a lot of places, so a lot of points of the articulation it kind of feels like a kit that you built like 6 months ago and then just left it in the box and then took it out and like, yeah, the leg just fell off. So in the case of like the leg in particular, I think just the extra weight, just how heavy these legs are with the addition of the extra shoe parts on there as well, just make them pretty heavy. So it's just going to be a thing that might be a problem if you have this like posed up on an action base and the legs are just in like a pose where they're hanging there. Over time, that might just completely just fall off. So you might want to do something about that to tighten up that joint there on the leg. Just make it so your legs aren't falling off your kit. But another point of the articulation that is kind of loose, it seems like, is here in the waist as well, or the stomach section, I should say. It's not really that big of a deal, but I noticed it, so I thought it'd be worth at least just pointing it out to you guys. The handles here on the top of the chest do also fold out like so, and then here onto the shoulders. The shoulder armor, or the shoulder joint itself, really only about to there, so not really all that much forward, and then upwards not really all that much either. You can bend up the shoulder armor by itself, and then the arm really only up to a little bit more than 90 degrees basically, so not all that much. Otherwise, here on the side of the arm we have a seam line right down the middle of that part there at the top, and then we just have rotation here at the top of the arm, double joint there in the elbow, giving you a pretty nice full elbow bend there, and then the wrist is just on a ball joint, but then we do also have a hinge at the base of the hand as well. For the fingers, the thumb is on a ball joint and the first finger is separated, but the second, third, and fourth fingers are joined together, but you can just slice those apart to have each individual finger articulated just on a ball joint there at the base if you want, but it's really kind of unnecessary. Down here at the skirt armor, the regular front skirts are in there behind the sub-arms, so those are there and they'll move up and down. Then of course these sub-arms will fold out, and then on the inside here we've got these little arms for those, so you can use these to hold on to the weapons. Either the beam saber or the beam rifle should be able to be held by these little claw hands here if I can get this open. There you go, so 3 little claws will open up like that and you can use those to hold on to weapons. So we'll try that out here in a bit. I'm not sure how well exactly that's going to work, but we'll find out. And then obviously the side skirts with our extra ammo packs on there will move up and down a little bit as well. The back skirt doesn't move at all, but it is pretty nicely detailed with the little thruster bells, all the little kind of thrusters, verniers in there I should say. Speaking of which though, these thruster bells for the backpack will move around and pop off very easily. So when you're moving the kit around and like just handling it, these are constantly popping off. Just make sure you pop that on there. Same thing here with the beam saber handle. The beam saber handle in the top is very loose, plugged into there, so that pops off very easily as well. And then finally, just moving down onto here to the legs. You gotta love just the overall shape and bulk of the legs. They're really cool looking. Let's see how they work. You can bring this forward. If we move that stuff out of the way, you can see that nice sliding gimmick on that thigh armor as well is pretty cool. You can bring that forward pretty well. Obviously not going to be too much. Bending the knee gives you a pretty nice separation there of the thigh armor as well as this little bit of inner knee armor there. And you can get a pretty good bend of that, more than 90 degrees. It's not a full bend, just how much bulk you have with these vents on the back of the leg, but it's a pretty good knee bend. And then down here at the ankles, this ankle armor here will move up and down to the front. You can see we have a nice piston detail inside of there. That's nice. The feet will move forward to there, back to there, all pretty well. Again, we have these high heel boots there with the little thruster detail up underneath, the little yellow kind of vent parts there at the back. And the ankles will move side to side pretty nicely there as well. So those work pretty nice. But I have also noticed this is also kind of a weak point. So because the kit is a relatively large kit and pretty heavy, when you have it just standing there and the ankles are kind of weak, it has like kind of tended to fall forward a little bit kind of easily. So just want to be careful about that. Okay, and going through the accessories, I don't know if you guys may have noticed or not, but one thing that it does not include is an action base stand. So yeah, you have to use that kind of fork action base connector to be able to put this up on action base, which is it's just mildly annoying. It's not really that big of an issue. It's just kind of a little bit less stable in my opinion if you want to be doing something kind of more dramatic with the pose, which as you guys have seen, this kit does have some weight issues, so I don't know if you're going to really be getting to do anything like really super dynamic with this kit anyway. As I'm finding out with the kit already, that those legs are just very, very heavy. You could get the legs wider, but just because of the weight issues, that's pretty much as wide as you're going to be able to get the legs, what you can see here in this pose. That said, the sub-arm for holding at least the beam saber does seem to be working very well. I will try it with the beam rifle here up next, and I think it'll be fine to do that as well. The only thing that's a little bit disappointing is maybe that we didn't get a second beam rifle with this kit. We've got the 2 shields. It would have been nice to maybe if they would have thrown in a second beam rifle there as well. Of course, if you have the Hazel custom, that comes with the beam rifle, but that one also only has 1. So some more weapon options would maybe be nice. I don't think this kit in canon, or at least technically, used the blade rifle, but that maybe would have been cool to have included with this kit, just the extra parts to add on to the front of that. I think we'll have those parts coming, if I remember correctly, with the Hurudu parts set that's coming out. So until then, we'll just kind of be stuck with the minimum weapons. Although, I mean, if this was like, for example, the Gundam Mark II, the Gundam Mark II just only comes with a beam rifle, a shield, and a beam saber. But that, I guess, does have the inclusion of the bazooka. But it is just kind of a typical Gundam thing. It's kind of the most average Gundam weapons layout. Shield, beam saber, beam rifle. That's it. So it's not really too weird. So there you go, and as you can see, the subarm has no problem holding the beam rifle as well. Luckily, the beam rifle is so simple and very light, so it doesn't really have an issue. What I'm really finding to be just the big issue for posing this kit is just the legs. They're just big, heavy, and just really hard to get into any kind of really good, super dynamic looking pose. That said, I personally really like the Advance of Zeta designs as just kind of just like standing designs, so I probably won't really have this ever really posed up in anything too crazy. I'll just kind of have it standing, looking badass, and like paint it all up, and with all the kind of really cool, interesting bits of armor and accessories and everything on it. They're just really cool, interesting designs to look at. I think maybe also just because of the fact that it's never something that's been animated, so I don't have like no desire to like recreate some like battle scenes or something like that from the anime, where it was with other series like with Gundam Wing or G Gundam or something. People often want to like recreate the cool poses that you've seen in the anime, where in this case you don't really have that, so you just have this really cool mecha design that you want to admire. So there you go, that is pretty much going to be it for this kit. Just like with the Hazel Custom, this is one of those kits that it's a premium Bandai Master Grade kit that's going to be a little bit more pricey. It's not going to really be for everyone, I think. While Advanced of Zeta designs, I think, are relatively popular, they're not popular to everyone, and I can see where people's criticisms are, where they wish that this was maybe more detailed or something. Personally, it looks fine to me. Yeah, it does. It is kind of similar to the higher grade, but I think that just is kind of more better points to the high grade for being nicely detailed. I mean, there's no like requirement for master grades to be like super duper detailed. I think it does have plenty of detail on there. For me, the only thing that I really put down as a big negative of the kit is just some of the joints being kind of loose and some parts just kind of falling off very easily. It's all stuff that's relatively easy to fix. It's just the fact that if you're not planning on doing any extra work to fix it, you just want to build this up just straight out of the box and put it on the shelf and pose it up. That is going to be an issue for you, but I think it's really not that big of a deal, really, to be honest. My view on these is that like I never really expected to get a Master Grade Hazel Custom or a Master Grade Advanced Hazel, so just the fact that we have it at all, I'm just glad that Bandai made that. I know I'd rather much have it than not have it at all. So I don't know, I guess you can rant and rave and all that stuff about P-Bandai, but at the end of the day, it's just kind of one of those things. You either just are going to buy it or you don't. Unfortunately, in Japan, people are still buying them plenty. That Bandai's probably not going to quit the practice anytime soon. As we've noticed, they've even ramped it up over the past few years of what it was even just like 5 years ago. So obviously it's working well out for Bandai, and they're just taking advantage of that. So that is the state of play at the moment, it seems, and so that is the end of this review, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Again, thank you to USA Gundam Store for sponsoring this review, guys. You can check out the link to their site down below. If you do live in the US and you want a good place to buy premium Bandai stuff, USA Gundam Store. There you go. You can use my coupon code there, save 10%, and cut down a little bit of that cost for you. If you guys do have any other further questions or comments about this kit, leave those down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you're having a great day. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Hey! Thanks for watching, guys. Remember, if you want to check the kit out for yourself, you can head over to USA Gundam Store. Use that coupon code ZakuAurelius10. Save yourself 10%. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Bye-bye.